Bazoum. Stories from the southeast, 5 ministerial slots to southeast unjust. Organizes a socio-cultural group in Igbo land. On Tinimbu, man who, addiction, drug addiction, man who jumped into lagoon on hard drugs. Found, according to police. Bakeries shutting down over soaring prices. APC tells Adeleke to apologize to pensioners. Presidential election, Atiku planning to contest again in 2017. Adeyunju, well, these are some of the headlines. Watch us live on our various social media platforms. They appear there on your screen. I'm sure you're watching ATN Live. Well, I have two guests here in the studio. Our guests are not going on a short break because we've already lost some time. I'm talking about Opaka Dokubo. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
And we have my colleague here, Dr. Abraham Joy Kiri. You're welcome. Sorry for keeping you waiting, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
That's why we're not going on a break. We've taken all the breaks. Well, let's look at some of the details of the story. Federal High Court in Lagos has fixed August 15 to hear an application by the suspended governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, seeking to halt his trial by the federal government through the department, DSS, State Security Service. The court will also hear an application by DSS seeking to appeal the 20 million bail granted to Emefiele by the court. Justice Nicholas Owebo fixed the date to enable the defense to apply to the prosecution's further counter affidavits, which was served on the defense in court just before the proceedings began. The judge in a ruling said though the DSS application was ripe for hearing, Emefiele's legal team needed to be given the opportunity to reply. In a fresh motion on notice, Emefiele, who has been in the DSS detention since June 10, is urging the court to quash the illegal firearms charges filed against him by the DSS and set him free. The Emefiele matter is still going on. You can see him still carrying Bible there. Gentlemen, can we look into that? Yeah. Let me start with you. Don't be downcast. It's your friend. He's carrying Bible there. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think for me the issue of Emefiele, well, it's a legal matter here. I think Nigerians are a little bit worried that the courts have made pronouncements and they have given go to that point where they say this person is on bail. And I would have thought that it would have been just for him to go and maybe meet his bail conditions, and then he would have to be set free on bail. So I just don't understand it. Why the DSS at this point will still keep him and then come back to, I mean, it does not look well. It does not tell well. Democratic government, for that matter. We're talking about the rule of law as a cardinal pillar of democracy. So if at any point in time the court made pronouncement, one would have expected that the government should have no difficulty
obeying those. You're a lawyer, you can add your voice to that.
Yes, Emefiele.
August 15.
Mainly trouble of Emefiele.
Yes.
Emefiele, we will continue to make Emefiele. In fact, the other day.
Will he be set free by August 15?
Well, no, August 15 is an opportunity for his team.
Yeah.
No, he was given opportunity for his team to get the application of DSS so that they will reply. Except that the matter will be given expeditious hearing, that the noble lord, the presiding judge, will bypass some of the things till remaining elite
some of the
judgment.
Some of the hurdles.
But my worry is, if a high court has given an order,
yeah. So why all this order?
Now, is it in law that you will still go back to the same high court to appeal the judgment or the order, the ruling it has given? I think this is
to reverse itself.
These things are given at higher level now. If a high court has
if they give a fresh charge,
yes,
they can go to the same court.
Yes, they can go to the same. But what we had here is want to appeal the ruling of granting him bail in the same court. It doesn't, and in fact, the other one, they said that he's now being detained in a fresh order by a magistrate court. Well, I don't know. They are confused. They are looking for opportunity to still keep Emefiele. but the fact is that the prosecution is weak.
Okay.
They are very weak. There are so many things they can bring before the court. If like the Naira swap, that horrendous time we passed through, people died, we suffered, and all that. You leave that one to go and look for, we saw gun and this thing. I mean,
can you stick to any legal issue on that? I think that there's an investigation going on in CBN, and some of the reports have been given recently. Did you hear about that?
The truth of the matter is that for me, it's beginning to look like persecution instead of prosecution.
Prosecution, okay.
That's what it is beginning to look like. Otherwise, for crying out loud, you kept him even beyond the constitutional,
requirement of
48 hours or whatever.
Yes, since it is not a murder case, yes.
Only to bring him to court, and you had charges that Nigerians never even expected. You come from somewhere, and even at that, you still kept him long enough. Now the court itself had now made a pronouncement, and you are still keeping him. You don't understand it. It doesn't tidy at all.
That will seem to be vendetta.
Yeah,
because as we are talking of
many people are pointing at that kind of situation.
As we are talking of Emefiele,
yes,
the former chairman of EFCC,
yes,
no one is still talking about him. No charge on his head. He is just there, and he cannot be extricated from the fact that there was a time EFCC and DSS struggled over an office, and the then president said DSS should leave. You recall those
I know those frictions.
So this is now time for them to pay their pound of flesh.
So let's hope that whatever is happening to Emefiele is not some kind of political vendetta. We've seen that happen, but it could be a coincidence. What's happened to Rufai now wouldn't be called a vendetta because it's coming from his village, and if you're pointing accusing fingers at the president, it will not work because it's a president's henchman. So a lot of coincidences could happen in the entire process. But let's look at this other story and then talk more on some issues in general terms. Wife of President Bola Tinubu, Oluremi, has called for German collaboration to cushion the effect of his subsidy removal on Nigerians. Tinubu, who gave the charge while welcoming the German ambassador to Nigeria, Annette Guterres, said other officials of the embassy to her office at the house, Abuja, expressed appreciation to the Federal Republic of Germany for its various interventions in Nigeria, especially in areas of humanitarian assistance to the vulnerable in various places of conflict. In a statement signed by her senior advisor, Busola Kukoye, the First Lady said the mutual and beneficial relationship enjoyed so far by the two countries is commendable. In her remarks, Guterres highlighted some areas of intervention by our country in Nigeria to include humanitarian assistance, stabilizing programs in conflict areas such as Northeast, security and renewable energy. She said her country appreciates the position of First Lady, especially as a role model to women. Well, let's take the story there. And it talks about vision of the administration for women and generally speaking. Well, this is a kind of a story dealing with the attitude of the presidency, as it were, to women, and talking about international collaboration. The German ambassador is talking about collaborating with Olorimisim. Yesterday I was talking about women. First ladies used to be mayor, used to be some kind of jamboree, as it were, performing some functions that are just gives an impression that they are there to show off. But we are beginning to see first ladies that actually impact on the governance, and Olurimi seem to be doing that path. Do you think the first lady is not a constitutional thing?
Good, yes, it's not in the constitution, and that is what we owe Buhari.
Okay.
Yes, at least something must start from somewhere.
Okay, so now that she's acting,
it was like at that time, the husband, president,
glamour,
and the wife, president for women, they are spending. This one is spending national resources. This one is also spending.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, poverty and everything looms. Well, my thinking is that Germany is a country. You know that Germany does not belong to the World Bank, even IMF, yes.
Okay.
Because of what? They practice social democracy. The greatest good for the greatest number.
That's when the Social Democratic Party wins an election.
No, even now.
Okay.
Even now, this kind of decision, this IMF prompted decision, removal of subsidy,
yes,
and devaluation of your currency,
yeah,
it's not hard from places like Germany.
Okay.
That's why they don't even near them at all. And if you, for those of us who have tested them in programs and all that, their attitude is quite different from those in the core capitalist.
And there's still economic power.
They are power.
Economic power in
yes.
Europe. Germany is the strongest economy.
Yes.
In Europe.
Yeah. They have been able to pass through some difficulties,
yeah,
and they've come to assert themselves in international, in the international arena.
Economy and all.
You cannot do anything economically without at least tapping Germany.
Okay.
And that is why when Germany has been able to grow at a level and apply to be a permanent member of the Security Council, some of their brothers in Europe and America refused it.
Okay. Now let's have another story. Let's have more story. Can you add some voice to that? The story has to do with the safety of the ousted Nigerian president. It's a very big issue. I think that's the most trending story virtually in all the media today. And that's why I was rushing to that story. The safety of the ousted Nigerian president Mohamed Bazoum may not be guaranteed, as the junta, which overthrew his government, has reportedly threatened to kill him should the economic community of West Africans attempt any military intervention to restore democracy in the Francophone country. The junta revealed their dark plot to murder the deposed president to a top United States diplomat. Two Western officials confirmed to Associated Press on Thursday. The threat is coming on the heels of the resolution of the ECOWAS to deploy troops according to AP, a U.S. official confirmed the account, also speaking on conflict of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak to the media. Bazoum, who was deposed on July 26, is being held hostage at his residence. However, rising from a meeting of ECOWAS heads of states and government Abuja Thursday, the president of ECOWAS, Omar Thani, said the bloc had directed the deployment of standby force to restore democracy in Niger after the coup. Standby force. And there is so much talk about this situation. There's so much talk. So what's your take on that?
Oh, I think there's so... At the moment, if you take the pulse of Nigerians, as far as Nigeria is concerned,
yes,
I think the overriding opinion is that there is no need for military intervention.
Yeah.
But ECOWAS, I want to understand. I want to give it to them, having made pronouncement.
Yeah.
There's no way they could now come back and completely reverse themselves 360 degrees. So what they have actually done is to still keep it, to still tell the world that it's still on the table. Of course, all of these are diplomatic tools. They will be on the table, including for so it will be there. But they have, like they have said, it is going to be the last weapon. So diplomacy and whatever dialogue, whatever it is, first. The question, one thing that appears to be running with our president, it appears like he always puts a cat before the horse. Because today we are talking about palliatives for subsidy removal and all of that. Only like it's working from behind. Because if only he had planned out this, done your own consultations, put out your plans, and then you are rolling it out, it would have been easy. But you first make your pronouncement, and there's no way you don't want to go back.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're now backtracking and then looking for ways to make amends.
How do you relate that with the ECOWAS issue?
In the ECOWAS issue, you first and foremost came out and said you were going to use military option. And you gave them an ultimatum, 7 days. Yes. Now 7 days has elapsed. You have not done it.
Well, I think there was a review of that decision.
That is the problem. Why not wait, get your consultation, do your everything first before giving the ultimatum?
Well,
you started out with the ultimatum.
Yes.
Now ultimatum has elapsed.
Yes. Well, these events showed me the level Nigeria is descending quickly. You recall that Liberia wouldn't have been now. Liberia, what is called Liberia, wouldn't have been. They were in infratricidal war, killing themselves. Nigeria, without wasting any time to consult these people, intervened.
ECOMOG.
Yes, Nigeria formed the ECOMOG, sent them, though we paid dearly for it, but the joy is that there is stability in Liberia. Then there was this military coup too in Sierra Leone. I think that one lingered till Obasanjo entered. I said the democracy must be restored in Sierra Leone, and we did not only say it happened.
Okay.
Now the same thing, the same challenge. You don't know that if the coup in Niger succeeds, then we are threatened here in Nigeria.
That's the problem, because Burkina Faso, Mali, and even Guinea.
Yes.
And if you hear the utterances of these coupists, the junta from these various francophone speaking countries, except Guinea. Guinea, yes, francophone too. So you begin to wonder if democracy will survive in Africa. And I listened to the Burkinabe, no, is it Burkinabe? The Malian, no, the Guinean, the Nigerian strongman.
Yes.
He was saying, if France want uranium, they should come and build nuclear power in Africa.
Yes. So
if they want copper or whatever, if they want chocolate, they should come and build chocolate factory in Africa. If they want cocoa, they should come and build chocolate factory here and produce here. We should not just be a consumer nation that provide raw materials. If Europe is not prepared to industrialize Africa, it was sounding very progressive and very intellectual. And as far as they were concerned, what we call democracy here is an imperialist jargon, because it's not working very well. So I think that if democracy must survive in this part of the world, something strategic must be done. The United Nations, the African Union, and even the European Union should support any onslaught that will require bringing the coupists to their knees, so that they can now go into, because I've seen a lot of signals. I've read a lot of signals that gives an impression that the ECOWAS will soon launch into Miami.
No, the thing is that
and if they do it alone, it may be very dangerous.
They tried to kill President Bazoum.
Yes.
is against international law.
Exactly.
Because you are using human being as a human shield for you to perpetrate. They wouldn't have done that. They wouldn't have said. The steps they took against France, imperialists said this is good. Which democracy itself cannot. These civilian people.
But the question here is this: if we agree that they have a case against France,
yes,
why are we, their brothers, now against them? What are we
doing? You don't talk about. You see, there are two things involved in this matter. One is restoring democracy,
yes,
and ensuring that we practice democracy to a point where it becomes reasonable and we get democratic deliverables. Imperialism is another issue. You can fight imperialism in a democratic setting. It mustn't be.
There has been democracy all this while. What have we done?
But we have also had military. We also have military.
We actually have.
No, we have had military. We have had military regimes in Africa. Severally. Did we kill imperialism?
One of the things they pointed to is that look at Nigeria. Among the highest oil producing countries in the world.
Yes.
And yet
no single
refinery is working.
Yes.
What kind of thing are we?
Yes.
These are the things that we need to address.
Are we going to address it through military?
Because military didn't address this problem.
For me, by whatever means to address them, we need to address them. The issue of democracy is even the Western, the Western concept, and we're using it. Has it helped us? Even domestically, has this so-called democracy? How much has it helped?
So which system are we
at least that
I don't know, but whatever system, we should not be tied so much to the system as to what it delivers.
We should moderate to suit our purpose.
The other day I said
that's what I mean.
That time has come for us to interrogate vehemently the well-quoted axiom that the worst democratic system is better than the best military government.
Exactly.
And I said,
you didn't agree, and I fought you on that.
Yeah, in fact, we have to.
And I fought you on that. I fought you on that because
you cannot.
Human right is important. Rule of law is important.
See, you cannot
to safeguard, Nigerians.
You cannot tell me that this democracy we are running from 1999 is better than the Murtala Mohammed 6 months rule.
What we call democracy in Nigeria today is
dictatorship
of the majority.
Exactly, the majority.
So it's still the form of dictatorship.
So you see, have you gone?
But whether I like it or not, there's freedom of speech. Whether I like it or not, there's rule of law. Look, and the fundamental human rights are there.
Again, even in our present circumstances,
and you can have a say.
Some people are mentioning that even during the military era, Nigerians were able to speak out. Yet the kind of persecution we have seen now, we just mentioned
now listen to Mali. Mali has clamped down on radio stations for kicking against Niger coup. That is what you see in a military dispensation. You wouldn't be here with me talking if military is entrenched, military regime is entrenched.
But you have stations have come under the hammer of MBC.
But Serap went to court. Serap and Nigerian Editors, we went to court, and that has stopped.
And then at their own whim, they obey it. When it does not favor them, they don't.
Military regime don't obey at all. They don't obey at all. Now let's look at another area whether democracy is working in Nigeria or not. Honestly, people have started crying again. I hardly take some of these sectional stories. The Honest Ndibo Socio-Cultural Organization has expressed dissatisfaction at the 5 ministerial slots allotted to the Southeast region by President Bola Tinubu. The President General of the group, Chief Iwayahu, said the number was unfair and unjust. In a statement on Thursday, Iwayahu said the Southeast was shortchanged with 5 states while other zones have a minimum of 6 states. According to Iwayahu, who demanded justice and fairness, the situation had placed the Southeast in a very difficult position, politically, economically, and socially. The statement read, recall that the states and geopolitical zones were created by the military administrations. All honest Nigerians know that the Igbo did not play much part during this exercise. So what are we talking about?
Yes,
because the argument came out that after giving each state one, you give at least one to the region. South has one for each state and 2 for the region, the north, the southwest, and all that. But when it came to Ohanezen, when it came to the southeast, they just gave them their 1 slot. Is that fair?
They should thank, for me, they should thank the constitution that even permitted that states. Look, if it passes 48 as it is it's an overbloated executive.
Okay.
Now,
it's 45 now.
I have always drawn the ears of people who want to listen. There was this a story in the Bible. A man had a vineyard and asked people to go and walk. Some people went with broom. Some people went with pestle. Some people went to shovel, knife, and all that to walk. The man saw them. He didn't talk.
It's not in the Bible. Is it your own Bible?
It's there. Then during the time of payment, he said he showed them a heap of money.
It's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible.
And then,
that is not the way the story is in the Bible.
Okay.
The story.
Let me conclude. Let me conclude.
It's a story, but not in the Bible.
When they finished, the man asked them, use
what you use.
That instrument
to scoop your own money.
Go enter inside this thing. whatever happens, whatever entered. This story was told us even from primary.
That's not the Bible. It's the Bible. The one you're talking about, the one that says to he who has much is given to him, and to he who doesn't know, even the one he has is taken from him. That's the one. That's what he was.
He was referring to the story.
Yes.
This husband man.
Yes.
Hiring people at different times.
Exactly.
No, that is
at different times of the day.
No, that is different.
And then at the end of the day, he pays them the same.
No, that is not what I needed.
And
what I've just told you
yes.
is the situation that is looming now.
Yes.
If you go to Southeast, for example, apart from Ebonyi State, where do you think the ruling party shows presence?
Imo. They have 2 states.
Imo.
Yes.
Through the help of Supreme Court.
But they have 2 states. They have 2 states.
So you find out that is a lesson.
In Abia, they have some legislators.
See,
the deputy speaker of House of Reps is from Southeast.
See, the thing is that they should begin to play their game. Not to put all their eggs
in one basket. No. That does not justify.
There is one thing I personally think.
This issue of you voted
of asking them to play. We must see it as a Nigerian problem.
Exactly.
See, the moment we continually ask them, oh, do this or don't do that, and you are continually raising the stakes for them, I think we're not being fair to the unity of this country. If we want the unity of this country, whatever happens anywhere, as a nation, we will have to see it as a problem and look for solutions to it.
Yes.
Don't see it as their Southeast problem. It's a Nigerian
problem. Let me conclude on this.
No, let me just add something.
Yes.
Yes, they have 5 states, which is the lowest.
They should have given them 1 for their region.
They asked them to. The National Assembly during
Jonathan.
Yes, during Jonathan said they should carve out the 6th state so that they will show it. That was when David Mark.
No, this one, the justice here is the fact that
is where David Mark
a zone is given one extra slot. So they are saying that they should have been given that 1 extra slot, even though they don't have a 6th state. That is the point they are making. Now let's look at how frustrated Nigeria has become. Nigerians have become. Do we still have faith in this country? Now look at this story. Man who jumped into the lagoon at Lekki Ikoyi Link Bridge, area of Lagos on Tuesday, has been identified as Buka Abana. This is just as rescue workers succeeded in retrieving Abana's corpse recently, after days of searching. That's it today. According to reports, 30-year-old believed to be a drug addict had left his Lekki phase 1 residence about 2 days before the incident. It was further learned that his family members who had formed a search party for him later received information that he was sighted around the bridge and decided to go after him. A source who spoke on condition of anonymity Because of the sensitive nature of the matter said, the man lived in Lekki. 1. He has been taken Colorado. He was missing for 2 days, and his family members were searching for him. You know, we deal with stories that come within 24 hours. The man was found yesterday. Yes, he was found yesterday, and look at what is happening. The fact that Nigerians are beginning to commit suicide. Nigerians are beginning to, but in this case, it's a case of drug addiction. And what leads to drug addiction? There are many factors, mixed factors, yes.
A lot of factors.
Yes.
Phase 1.
The richest people say.
He's a big man.
He doesn't even come to you as somebody that
It's
is
a rabble of the earth, yes.
So, and if somebody like that is addicted to drugs, then it will not be, not fall into the category of
frustration and all that, yeah.
Maybe it's a lifestyle over the years he has acquired, but then the issue is, if that, I don't know the family now, how wealthy they are, but if Lekki is their residence, then you want to, so what about rehabilitation?
Yeah.
What did the family do? I mean, for somebody who, the way they are talking about it now, got missing, but you know that he has this problem, and then he was left like that and all that. But I think the bottom line is that we need to understand that this drug issue is eating our society, very hard, and then we need to understand that all hands needs to be on deck to solve that problem. If it's happening at that level, you can imagine. The other day we were talking here, and you said, look, in the rural areas,
yes,
that's where you even
serious drug addiction.
They are able to mention whatever Colorado. I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
But when you go down to the villages, to the very poor neighborhoods, all manner of things they tell you as drugs, and people just want to get escape.
They even sniff dung. Car dogs.
They just want to. Sometimes people do it just to escape from reality, because you don't even know what your life is worth. So people get to that point where your life means nothing anymore. They don't see life as anything, because there is no hope. You have today, and then they don't know what tomorrow holds. There is nothing. Life means almost nothing to anybody, to them anymore.
There are different levels of frustration. You know. Frustration could come in form of people not having the best things of life in terms, not just money. Could be marriage, frustration. It could be anything, you know. Now look at it. Now, Bread Sellers Association have cried out that in Zamfara, that the hike in the price of flour and other ingredients necessary for production of bread has forced many confectionery houses to shut down in the state. Speaking in an interview with newsmen in Gusau, the state capital, the state chairman of the association, who doubles as the Northwest Zonal Secretary, Alhaji Yusuf Usman, lamented that the prices of the confectionaries have gone beyond their reach. Usman further stated that some bread and confectionery houses have shut down as a result of high prices of relevant baking materials. According to him, he said, we have no alternative than to reduce our quality of production and go out of production, as the prices of commodities have continued to escalate. A long time since 2016, he added. He appealed to the federal government to intervene in the order to keep them in business before the situation becomes completely unbearable. Bread, ordinary bread too, and very soon we won't have bread to eat. That's the serious situation we find ourselves in the country. Almost everything has been affected. I even hear the price of gas is going to go up. So, and the price of bread is not even what an ordinary man can afford. So in all this, 2 minutes, let's knock off.
I think for me, this issue of bread, there was a time when we heard about, okay, flour is just one of them, or is the main ingredient.
Baking powder and all that.
Those are even, the major one is the flour that we know. And they talked about making cassava flour in Nigeria. What happened to that project?
Jonathan talked about.
They even they came to television and what they told us was the
in the government house. Yes.
What happened
in the presidency? Yes.
we are. I don't know how to describe our country, our leaders. And then here we are today. A loaf of bread goes for as high as 1,000 whatever. And those are the kind of things that we had of Uganda in those days.
Yeah, exactly.
And they say, oh,
a loaf of bread,
and Zimbabwe,
$100,000.
$10,000. We're getting there. Well, no, well, of course, we're already there.
Yes.
And if ordinary man cannot eat bread, what can he eat? Ordinary agege bread, he cannot eat.
In Port Harcourt today, we are
knock off.
They have already. The price has increased.
Even that story of Mrs. Tinubu asking for help from from Germany.
Yes.
And this thing,
yes,
they should know that they have to temper on the kind of measures. There are people who have so arranged themselves.
Yes.
Any day they don't eat bread, they are never satisfied.
Exactly.
In fact, I have few friends who said even if there is gario or whatever, there must be bread on the table.
Now, even boiled, that is delicacy for Rivers people.
That
one is become
only one small thing they say is 400 naira.
200 naira, 300 naira,
I say
and
what?
all that.
Then this bread issue. The bread I asked for bread at least anyhow. They say brought that round one 250. It was like using small flour, whatever, and filling it with sugar. I just tested it and I have to.
It's not like people are saying that the wrap of loy now is getting smaller and it's every day so, the wrap of loy is getting smaller and smaller. Everything gets smaller. Even sardine. If you open sardine now, the number of fish inside is
as it's getting smaller, the price is getting
higher. That is what happens. That's what happens to a country. People who are docile and all that. You remember when sometimes ago that Zimbabwe
yes.
added half to bread, cost of bread. What happened? All of them went out. No more food, no other food.
All right, so
until they brought back.
Well, I think that's the much we can take on today's program. Sorry, we came very late, and so we didn't take care of some of the stories. We seem to have been rushing, but at least we're able to bring some, information, some insight in some of the stories, and even brought humor into some of them. Well, of course, you know that this is a press roundtable. It comes to you every day, Monday to Friday. Tomorrow is Atlantic Television Saturday, Network Saturday, and that's our magazine show, 3-hour magazine show. So join us. Well, I'm sure you are joining us on our social media platforms. They are there on the screen. Well, they say by 9 p.m. tonight, you have our global roundup news to come up by 9 p.m. Don't forget, peace is the pathway to progress. Make peace your watchword. My name is Bon Woki, and I thank these two gentlemen who came here. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
It's always a pleasure to have you in our program.